So I'm actually kind of happy I had to sit down and reshoot this video because my camera screwed up the first two takes. But yesterday, or the day before, I think it was the day before, Twitter user BrokenMike2 tweeted out, "Big tip for new runners, stop focusing so much on other people's times and don't worry about being competitive. It's you versus the game, nothing more, nothing less. Just have fun with it, guys." They said what I've been trying to say a lot more eloquently, which is your personal best really doesn't matter as much as you think it does. What's up, everybody? My name is Tallest Thomas, and before we get started, I do want to let you know that I stream on Twitch every Monday and Wednesday. Link will be down in the description below. Now, back to what I was saying, and this mainly applies to the average runner, not so much for top runners, people competing for world record, but your personal best really doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things. Now, before you go ahead and get the pitchforks out and are like, "Tom, but what about the leaderboards? That only counts personal best." Listen, a lot of people put in a direct correlation between your personal best and your level of skill, which is wrong. Personal best is a run or an attempt where everything goes absolutely right. Not perfect, but right, good enough. It's when you're literally playing your best. And that's not directly indicative of how good you are at the game. You can have a mediocre run average, but still have a very good personal best. Like, for example, my personal best right now in Breath of the Wild is 30 minutes and 19 seconds. But my average run is about 32 to 33 minutes. There's a big time difference there. With that being said, though, most people only actually know what the personal best of the runner is. And that's why they equate it to how good they are. And this tends to create something that I like to call PB culture, or personal best culture, which honestly can be pretty damn toxic sometimes. This is when everybody's kind of just obsessed over who has the best personal times and not really who is a good player or not. There are a couple major problems with PB culture, and we're obviously going to go through them right now. And I think the number one biggest issue is the fact that it leaves probably one of the biggest feelings of inadequacy if you don't get a personal best for a while. Speedrunning is very hard, and when you get to the higher levels of play, approaching, top 15 or top 10, what have you, it gets even harder. When you start getting to that level, your improvements won't be as visible as they were when you first started out. So getting stuck at a personal best time and kind of hitting a brick wall there for a month or two is totally normal. But when you're in Discord or on Twitter or on Reddit and you constantly see people, maybe even newer runners, PBing more often than you, kind of messes with your head a little bit. Which actually leads to the second point. It can actually hinder your overall performance when you're doing speedruns. If you're consistently trying to play against your best times instead of your normal times, you're bound to fail. We all know that we can spend hours and hours playing these games and still have fun, but when LiveSplit is consistently showing your numbers in the red, it starts to get a little demotivating. And the last thing that PB culture does that really sucks is people tend to start ignoring their incremental improvements. Yes, you may not hit a new personal best for quite some time, but if you look at your splits and your run histories, you'll probably notice that some of your splits are actually getting faster. I'm currently in a PB slump. I haven't PB'd in probably about a month and a half now, but I know for a fact that I have dropped off 10 to 15 seconds off of at least 2 different splits in my run. That alone is a great enough motivator to keep me running the game. I think when runners get obsessed over their personal bests and they don't do it for a while, they tend to get angry and leave. Either their mentality is saying that they're not good enough at the game, or they're just frustrated in general. So what can we do to kind of counteract the effects of PB culture? And there's really a couple things, and it all comes down to the individual. First thing is first is don't get caught up in the hype of new personal bests. It's great to see your fellow runners nailing out runs, nailing the trick that they've had issues with, and getting a new personal best time. But remember, that doesn't actually affect you in any way. You have to remember that it's you versus the game and yourself. Your main goal here is self-improvement. One thing that I like to do personally when I'm kind of feeling in a slump is actually change LiveSplit from comparing against PB to comparing against average segments. Trying to play better than normal is a lot easier than trying to play against your best. While this might not achieve what you're looking for directly, it's actually a really good mentality switch, because if you're playing well, then you're most likely playing better than average. And last but not least, you can always keep track of your progress independently, be it in a spreadsheet, a Word document, even a good old-fashioned pen and paper notebook works. I've seen other runners do this, and being able to see their improvement over X amount of time really keeps them motivated to keep grinding away. So just try to remember, unless you're competing for a world record, your personal best really doesn't matter all that much. So what do you all think? Let me know in the comment section below, or hit me up on Twitter, link in the description below. If you found this video useful at all, please give it a like and subscribe. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. Until next time, I'm Tallest Thomas. Stay golden.